Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Blessing and I'm the founder of Ore Foundation. So for those who are new to this page, welcome. First of all, I would love for you to follow, share, and just like and comment below. Let's keep this page very interactive. So Ore Foundation is a non-profit organization that focuses on issues that affect youth and women in Nigeria. So I'm a Nigerian who is passionate about issues that affect the Nigerian youth. And I think my journey personally in advocacy and social change started when I moved to the United States. So prior to me moving to the United States, I didn't really care about talking about social issues as much. The only thing that I was focused on back then was traveling abroad to further my education, make money, live a comfortable life. And I had a passion, to want to make a change. But I always saw myself making a change in a very big way, like in a global way. Like I wanted to work in World Health Organization, in the UN, in one of those big international organizations. And I never really thought about grassroots change. I always saw it from a big picture level of influencing international politics in one way and policies in one way or the other. And I'll take you one step back to tell you where that all started from. So like I said, I'm Nigerian, and at a young age, I think I was in secondary school back then, which is like high school. We were taught at some point before we transitioned into college that we needed to focus on a particular field going into college. And so at that point, when it was time for me to select the course of study that I wanted to focus on and major in my undergrad program, I was a bit confused. I didn't know, where my strength lied. I didn't know what I was really interested in. I knew I was good in certain subjects, but then I could not piece it all together. So I remembered having a conversation with my brother back then, and I asked him, I said, people who study public affairs, what do they do? Like, what line of work do they end up pursuing? So he said, public affairs, you're going to be distributing food palliatives to people and distributing keke napep. That was the word he used, keke napep, which is like the keke marwa in Lagos. So they're like tricycles that people use to transport people around. And a lot of times the government usually had outreach programs where they end up empowering people with those vehicles as a way of getting them to make some sort of income for themselves. But then it wasn't one of the luxurious ways of transportation or modes of transportation back in Nigeria back in the day. So when I looked at it, I was like, wait, what? I'll be distributing keke napep. I don't want that, But then I thought about it. I'm like, but then I'll be helping people. Okay. So one day, so that was at the back of my palm. Like, that's an option. I want to help people, but no, I don't want to give people keke napep. I want to give people something better than keke napep. So, but then I was really young. I was a teenager, so I didn't really understand the concept of public affairs. But then there was a day I was watching the news. I think it was CNN. And so I saw Condoleezza Rice on TV speaking in a conference. And then I asked my brother, I said, I like this woman. I love her confidence. I love the way she speaks. How can I become like that? Like, if I want to work as in her position as a Secretary of State or something, like, what do I need to do? So my brother said, well, you might want to study international relations and all of that. And it just stuck at that point. It clicked in my head. I was like, you know what? I like the sound of that. International relations. I should totally do that. And so that was how my journey started. And so I went into school to study history and international studies. So it wasn't international relations, because the school that offered international relations, for some reason, my parents my parents were okay with me going to that school, but my brother ended up selecting a different school. And so the school that he chose for me to study, they didn't have international relations purely. So they had a double honors program that was history and then international studies. So that was what I studied. And then while I was in school, I realized that I found my international studies courses more interesting. Like, I was very passionate about foreign policy. I loved diplomacy. My strength lied so much in, the international studies aspect of my dual degree. But the history part, I found a little bit, boring. And I had to study a lot. Like, I had to memorize a lot of Napoleon Bonaparte. There was a lot of European history that I didn't really understand, that I had to study. So I didn't really enjoy the history part. But all in all, I graduated from the school with my degree in history and international studies. And so from that moment, I started to look for a job in my field. And I remembered serving in Abuja. And so one day, when I was driving, and so I saw the Federal Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And when I saw it, I was like, wow, this building is amazing. I want to work here. I want to work here so bad. And so I started to put out applications, over and over and over again. I didn't hear anything from them. The process to even apply for a federal job in Nigeria at that point was very difficult. Like, I remember being told I needed to go bring recommendation letter from my local government chairman, go get this from that, go get that from this person. It was just a hassle. So I think I went through with all of that stress. I dropped my application and I never got the job. And there was a day as a copper, I had my NYSC attire on. So for those that don't know what NYSC is, in Nigeria, at a certain point after your school, so usually it's right after your undergrad, you get to serve the country for 1 year. So we call it National Youth Service Corps. So you get posted or deployed to a different part of the country where you get to apply your skills that you learned in school into developing that community that you get posted to, and then the government pays you an allowance monthly for being in that particular part of the country. And so we are mandated as Nigerians to go through, Nigerian students after graduating, to go through that program. And so during my NYC, that's when I was in Abuja, and then I got to see that building, and I wanted to work there. So there was this day I had my uniform on, and I went there and I was like, please, can I just go inside? I love this building. I would want to work here someday. This is what I studied. Can I please just go and see what it looks like in there? And I got turned away by the security guards. They were like, government speaking, who you want to go see inside? So meaning government's child, who do you want to go and see inside? So I said, I don't know anybody. So they said, you don't know anybody and you just want to go in? I'm like, yeah, I just want to, see it. And they said, no. I was heartbroken. I was pretty sad. And they turned me away. They said I needed to know someone in the building before I could gain access. And I left. And when I left, I told myself I was still going to work there someday. I still, really loved it, and just the idea of just being there in the building, like I said, was so beautiful, and I just got carried away by how amazing it looked.